So what do I think are the most shocking acting Oscar nominations of all time? Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to the Awards Contender. This is going to be a very fun one today, talking about those unexpected acting Oscar nominations that came out of frickin' nowhere, right? Where on Oscar nominations morning, we were asking ourselves, how did that happen? How did that person get in? Let's start with number 10, Best Supporting Actress, Toni Collette, The Sixth Sense.
She hid in the back so you wouldn't see. She said you were like an angel.
So I don't know about you, I love this Oscar nomination. I'm so happy that Toni Collette has something. She should have been nominated in Best Actress for Hereditary. I've talked about that probably 30 times on the channel. At least she got in for The Sixth Sense, 1999. And what's really cool about that nomination is that she basically didn't show up anywhere all season. Basically, before the Oscars, when it came to the acting categories for The Sixth Sense, it was all about Haley Joel Osment in Best Supporting Actor. He showed up everywhere, basically. But Toni Collette, she was not getting into Supporting Actress at the Globes and at SAG and at BAFTA. But the Academy responded to The Sixth Sense so well, like it got into picture and director and supporting actor, of course. Toni Collette came along for the ride, and so well deserved. She is astonishing in that film, especially at the end in the car, so I'm really happy this unexpected Oscar nomination for Collette came to fruition. Number 9, Best Supporting Actor Michael Shannon, Revolutionary Road, and Nocturnal Animals.
If he knocked her up on purpose just so he could spend the rest of his life hiding behind a maternity dress, that way he'd never have to find out what he's really made of.
I see. I don't think he understands. Lou? Lou? Hey, you. Your name Lou?
Now here is the one person I'm talking about in this video where it's happened twice, where he got a shocker acting Oscar nomination 2 times. The first time for Revolutionary Road 2008. When it came to the acting categories for the most part that season, it was Kate Winslet in Best Actress. But then, by the Oscars, she was going into lead actress for The Reader, and there was a lot of confusion, what was going to happen with Revolutionary Road. And then in a stunner, I'd say, in Best Supporting Actor, Michael Shannon showed up for what's really one amazing scene near the end of that film. That was inspired. I'm so happy he got in. And then 8 years later, it happened again for Todd Ford's Nocturnal Animals. Most of that season, Aaron Taylor Johnson was getting into supporting actor for that film. He won the Golden Globe Award, if you remember. But then at the Oscars, they didn't nominate Aaron Taylor Johnson, who still to date has never received an Oscar nomination. They went with Michael Shannon. So it has happened twice to this incredible actor, so well deserved. Number 8, Best Actress, Keisha Castle-Hughes, Whale Rider.
But I was not the leader my grandfather was expecting, and by being born, I broke the line back to the ancient ones.
So here's one of the rare people I'm talking about in this video who did get one major precursor nomination. Castle-Hughes for Whale Rider got in at SAG. But it was in supporting actress, not lead actress. So if she was going to get the Oscar nomination, we all thought it was going to happen in supporting actress, and she didn't show up there, and I was like, okay, well, it's not happening for Castle-Hughes, unfortunately. She is excellent in that movie, but then she showed up in lead actress, and we were like, what? You know, that was kind of unusual because the Academy doesn't often nominate child actors in lead actor or actress. Usually it's in supporting. I mean, Tatum O'Neal, hello. She's in every frame of Paper Moon, and she won in supporting actress, not lead actress. Whale Rider did not do very well in Oscar nominations morning. It's not in picture and director and stuff, so they easily could have snubbed Castle-Hughes. That she got into Best Actress at the Oscars, not supporting actress, I do think is very cool, and it was totally unexpected. Number 7, Best Actor, Tommy Lee Jones in The Valley of the Law.
Yeah. You mind if I take this? His mother gave it to him and I left mine at home.
I did see that movie once. It came out in the fall of 2007. That was a strange season for Tommy Lee Jones because he was also obviously that fall in No Country for Old Men, which went on to win the Oscars for Best Picture and Best Director. We all knew Javier Bardem was getting into Best Supporting Actor for that film, was probably winning, and there was talk that Tommy Lee Jones could get into Best Supporting Actor for No Country for Old Men. He had been nominated in the precursors for that film, but on Oscar nominations morning, the Academy passed over Jones for that film by the Coen brothers. They elected to nominate him in Best Actor instead for In the Valley of a Law, directed by Paul Haggis, co-starring Charlize Theron. That movie, I think it came out in September. It did okay with critics. It wasn't like a box office hit or anything. It kind of came and went, and it didn't really get in anywhere all season, in any category, and then it shows up randomly, in some sense, for Jones on Oscar nominations morning. It was kind of that Leonardo DiCaprio thing where we all thought he was going to get into Best Actor at the Oscars for The Departed, but he got in for Blood Diamond instead. That's what kind of happened for Jones the following year. We thought it was going to happen for No Country for Old Men, a movie that ends on him, he ends that film, but no, they went with In the Valley of the Law. Number 6, Best Actress Laura Linney, The Savages.
Where's the conference?
Poland.
You didn't tell me that.
You didn't ask.
This one was a huge thrill for me because I love The Savages. It made my top 5 favorite films of 2007. And all season long, the only person showing up in acting nominations for that movie was Philip Seymour Hoffman. They kept snubbing Laura Linney. And I was like, why are we snubbing Linney? She is great in this movie. She deserves to get into Best Actress. And it was such a bummer. By Oscar nominations morning, I had basically written her off. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. That last slot, maybe it'll go to Helena Bonham Carter for Sweeney Todd or something. But no, they went with Laura Linney for The Savages in Best Actress at the Academy Awards. Philip Seymour Hoffman missed there for that film, but he got in for Charlie Wilson's War, so both Hoffman and Linney were nominated at the Oscars that year. I was so happy Linney got in for The Savages. She is dynamite, great in that movie, and so when she showed up, I was like, yes, even though she missed everywhere. Even though at the Globes and at SAG and at BAFTA, they snubbed her, the Academy did the right thing that year and nominated Laura Linney for The Savages. Number 5, Best Supporting Actress, Marcia Gay Harden, Pollock.
We don't get by, we struggle. But you are a great artist. I believe in Jackson Pollock.
So I've talked about this nomination on the channel before. This was a shocker. Just her getting in, just her getting nominated for that film. It was a very much late release in 2000. Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock did not show up anywhere that season outside of the Film Independent Spirit Awards. She didn't get in at the Golden Globes, at Critics' Choice, at SAG or BAFTA. The Oscar nomination, just the nomination itself, was a shocker. And then she wins, right? She wins over some very considerable competition, like Kate Hudson for Almost Famous. And it was like, what? How did that happen? How did she get in the first place? And how did she win? I mean, a big part of it was Best Supporting Actress that season was all over the place. Talk about chaos, right? Someone new was winning at every precursor ceremony. So by the time we got to Oscars night, it was like, well, let's give it to the one person who hasn't won anything, Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock. Number 4, Best Supporting Actor, James Cromwell, Babe.
I'd sing you a morning, golden and true.
Now, something I was surprised to learn was that Babe, up until the Oscars, was not doing really well that award season. It gets 1 Golden Globe nomination, it gets 1 Critics' Choice, it's not in at SAG. The awards voters didn't really go for Babe, which makes its huge overperformance on Oscar nominations morning very unexpected, not just in supporting actor, but in a bunch of categories. It's in picture, it's in director, it's in film editing, they really loved Babe. But one of the big shocker nominations that morning was definitely James Cromwell getting into Best Supporting Actor. He was not nominated anywhere else that season. He's not at the Globes, he's not at SAG. Like, you think he would have gotten a nomination somewhere along the way for that movie, but he didn't. The Academy loved it enough to get Cromwell in there, and that is a very inspired Oscar nomination, I'd say. I really adore his performance in that. I'm happy that James Cromwell has an Oscar nomination for something. Might as well be Babe. Number 3, Best Actress, Lana Turner, Peyton Place.
Leah, you've got to call the state police.
So I did want to include like a few older actors, like in classic Hollywood and stuff in this video. It's hard because when there's not precursors, like who's to say a nomination was unexpected or shocking outside of like digging through the newspapers at the time or something. Like you finally get the Golden Globes in the late 40s into the 50s, and that's about it. Now, in reading up on some articles about what people thought were shocking Oscar nominations back in the day, I saw this name twice, and it makes sense. Lana Turner got a Best Actress Oscar nomination for Peyton Place, which was another overperformer. That movie got 9 nominations, including Best Picture. It got into other acting categories. This was Lana Turner's only Oscar nomination in her long career, and it was for a soapy kind of melodrama of the mid-1950s. It wasn't the kind of film or performance that was really expected to get Oscar nominations outside of maybe like 1 or 2 categories. Turner was not expected to get in. The film did get some Golden Globe nominations, including the acting categories. She did not get nominated in Best Actress. So this did kind of come out of nowhere, and I don't know about you, I'm very happy about this nomination. I've always really liked Lana Turner. I like her performance in that film. I saw it the one time and enjoyed it on, kind of a surface level. It's not the best movie ever made, but it's kind of fun. She's good in that. And so yeah, I think this unexpected Oscar nomination for Lana Turner is a good one. Number 2, Best Supporting Actor, Lakeith Stanfield, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Show some discipline! It's a goddamn rat in here, Bobby, and when I find him, I'm gonna smoke him out!
I had to include this one, right? This is the most recent shocker of an acting Oscar nomination on this list. I remember that morning being like, what? Like, what? All season long, Daniel Kaluuya was getting into Best Supporting Actor for Judas and the Black Messiah. At the Globes, at Critics' Choice, at SAG, he was winning everything. Lakeith Stanfield just wasn't really showing up anywhere because I think he was being campaigned in lead actor. They didn't want like both Kaluuya and Stanfield like competing in the same category, Best Supporting Actor. But then on Oscar nominations morning, you have both Kaluuya and Stanfield show up in Supporting Actor, even though you could argue those two characters are the leads of that movie. How can they both be supporting? It didn't make sense. And because Stanfield wasn't showing up anywhere all season long, it just was like, holy shit, what? Like what? How did this happen? He was never winning that. It was always going to Kaluuya, who essentially swept the season for that performance. Stanfield's nomination to this day remains a total shocker. And that takes me to the number 1 choice. What do I think is the most shocking, unexpected acting Oscar nomination of all time? It's gotta be Best Supporting Actress, Marisa Tomei, My Cousin Vinny.
My niece, the daughter of my sister, is getting married. My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married.
This is number 1. It has to be, right? That was so crazy that she got in the first place for a studio comedy that wasn't really showing up anywhere that season. It wasn't getting into picture, director, actor for Joe Pesci. Marisa Tomei did not get a Golden Globe nomination. This is before SAG existed, so SAG wasn't a part of that yet. But you would think, like, her getting an Oscar nomination for a movie like that, she would have at least gotten the Golden Globe nomination. It didn't happen. She didn't win any major critics prize or something. There wasn't like a stunner like New York Film Critics Circle Prize or LA Film Critics. None of that happened. I can't imagine she was on anyone's radar that much to get an Oscar nomination for My Cousin Vinny, even though she is bonkers great in that film. The Academy rarely recognizes comedic performances just for nominations. So it didn't seem like a possibility, but then she got the nomination up against like these 4 powerhouse dramatic actresses. like Judy Davis and Joan Plowright and Vanessa Redgrave and Miranda Richardson, and then she wins. She won. Not having any precursor nominations or wins or any critics prizes, she wins Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars for a comedic performance. That was frickin' crazy, y'all. That was crazy. So in some ways, I feel like Marisa Tomei has to top this list, because not only was the nomination itself a stunner, it was also absolutely shocking for her to win over those 4 amazing women and performances. You just look at Oscars history going back decades, and that's an anomaly. You know, that she didn't win the Golden Globe, didn't get nominated there, didn't get in anywhere. She gets in at the Oscars, and then she wins. It's kind of like the Marcia Gay Harden situation, but at least Marcia Gay Harden gave a dramatic kind of Oscar baity performance in Pollock. That's not what Marisa Tomei is doing in My Cousin Vinny. She's very good in that film. I really adore this Oscar nomination and win, but that is a comedic performance, and the Academy rarely acknowledges those just for nominations, let alone the win. So yeah, Marisa Tomei winning Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars for My Cousin Vinny had to be my number one choice.